Number 8, we experience love. And let me say this, there is more to love than a biochemical reaction. And if you're married this morning, or if you have children this morning, or if you have a mom or a dad this morning, you probably know this, that there's more to love than just chemicals. According to Darwinists, we're nothing but chemicals. But according to the Bible, we were designed with a purpose, and we were designed with the ability to love. If we were just biological machines that are coded with just nothing but genetic material, how is it that we have the ability to love one another to the point of laying down our lives for each other? How is that possible if we're nothing but robots? Do robots give their lives for each other?
This is simple. We're not robots. I'm pretty sure Charles Darwin never said that we were actually robots. Right, so basically his premise isn't even about love. I mean, the Bible spoke about love, which gave him the leeway into talking about the Bible, but he used love to get there. The point he's making is, why do we have experiences? Because love could easily be replaced with anger, and jealousy, and envy, and greed, and gluttony. You know, 7 deadly sins could also be put there, which ultimately was also created by God in Matt's mind. But ultimately it's an argument for conscious experience, the ability to experience things as a conscious being. That's, I believe, what he's getting at here, ultimately. And I do kind of want to point out, why does Matt have to strawman everything? Well, I have to try and figure out the best way he's tried to put his words. And yeah, I see this from lots of atheist content, but not a lot from theists. Theists tend to strawman a lot. Not all, but, you know, the majority do that I see. So basically, consciousness seems to be an emergent property coming from the brain. And part of the reason I know this is because of how anesthetic works. So, an anesthesiologist, I'm using big words now, to put you asleep with general anesthetic. Not, you know, put to sleep, let's put him down, but put to sleep, you know, so that they can't experience anything. They're switching off consciousness, like a light switch. And just in case you're wondering, but also just in case you don't want to know, because there are some people who may be going, you know, for surgery, this might not be a good thing to hear. So when you get put to sleep with general anesthetic, you're not just going to sleep. You are not in a sleep state when you're under that anesthetic. How anesthesia works isn't fully understood yet, so I've looked it up just in case modern stuff's come out, you know, because I don't want to give out old information and I don't want to give out wrong information, especially on stuff that I'm not 100% familiar with. But anesthesia doesn't work by putting you to sleep. It, you know, puts you in an unconscious state, which you can then be, you know, reversed, rather than, you know, killing you, because, you know, that would kind of work too. You just wouldn't wake up, which obviously isn't the goal. But anyway, so the mechanism by which consciousness turns off is still not fully understood, but research suggests that general anesthetic disrupts brain communication in several ways. Alright, so number 1 is suppression of the thalamocortical activity. So the thalamus acts as a relay station for sensory information which reaches the cortex, the part of the brain responsible for awareness and cognition. General anesthetics reduce activity in the thalamus, effectively cutting off sensory input from reaching conscious awareness. I'm not going to read them all, but essentially, disruption of cortical connectivity, neural network breakdown, effects on neurotransmitters, and loss of feedback loops. Essentially, it stops the brain from communicating with many parts of itself. If that stops, the emergent property of consciousness also stops. You're still alive, but you're not conscious anymore because the brain has been reduced in functionality. So it's not some magical property, unless you want to say anesthetic is also some sort of magical property, or some physical thing that affects the supernatural. In which case I don't understand why we're not using anesthetic on ghost hunting trips. So, all of these emotions could be reduced to simple things. Just like you could reduce consciousness to more simpler little things, but at the same time, despite them being complex anyway, but you know, as you get multiple complex things, you get something more complex. So it can be reduced to something simpler, but that doesn't mean each one's simple. That's fine. It doesn't have to be. So if consciousness is a collection of loads of different things working together, it becomes an emergent property. Now, if you take away some of these things, consciousness slowly starts to fade away. No longer does it have the property of consciousness. But when those things start working again, it becomes conscious again. So you can reduce it down to simple things, but you won't find consciousness because it only appears when it's emergent. It's kind of like trying to find an ocean when you're only looking at puddles. And the same can be said with love, even if it is just some sort of biochemical reaction in the brain, and we reduce it to something as simple as that. The emergent property of that reacting in your brain along with other things creates a full experience that you as an individual feel as love. The same goes for anger and jealousy and all the other things there. Love is a very strong emotion.